According to a recent press release by the Ministry of Housing, the Tenant Fees Act of 2019 is going to save tenants £240 million per year. Now that's staggering, if you believe that. What I do know is the Tenant Fees Act is going to cost letting agents a lot of money. It's going to cost landlords a lot of money. It is going to affect our income in a significant way because of the resultant court fines, the court battles, the sanctions, which are wholly unnecessary. So I want to help you with that. I want to help you understand your obligations, and I want to help you avoid all those unnecessary costs. I am your host, Julie Condliffe, the author of a #1 best-selling book. I am also a specialist litigation solicitor. I am a speaker, blogger, writer, property investor, landlord's friend, all in all passionate about property. That's why I set up the Elite Legal Landlords platform where we network as landlords. Hopefully you can register to join me on our next full training webinar, No Sales. As you'll recall, today we are discussing the tenancy deposits by reference to the implications of the Tenant Fees Act of 2019. As you know, lawyers love stories. That's why we have case law. That's why we use case law as precedent. So today we're telling a story about Rue and Patrick. Rue is from Leeds. She got herself a buy-to-let property with the help of Property Pro World on the 1st of June 2019. She then got a tenant who paid a deposit, and she was rearing and ready to go. In 2020, she then fell in love with gorgeous Patrick. Oh my goodness, look at that beautiful picture. Gorgeous Patrick then decides that he wants to move to Australia. Rue thinks, wow, incredible, let's go to Australia. Who doesn't want to go to Australia? So they decided to evict the tenant, sell up and go. The tenant was actually a great tenant. They'd paid their rental on time. They had no breaches at all of any of the contractual terms of the tenancy agreement. So Rue and Patrick knew that it was going to be straightforward, no-fault grounds under Section 21. That's because they'd watched many of Julie's YouTube videos on the Elite Legal Landlords platform. What they hadn't done was they had not attended one of Julie's most helpful Elite Legal Landlords tutorials on webinars where you don't actually get any sales whatsoever, just pure content. The good news is the solicitors, they saw very, very knowledgeable in the property space, in particular property litigation. So they explained to them that the Tenant Fees Act 2019 restricts payments from tenants. In fact, every payment is prohibited unless expressly stated as being a permitted payment. These particular provisions apply only to assured short-hold tenancies entered into on or after 1 June 2019. They also apply to renewal fixed-term tenancies entered into on or after that relevant date. As you recall, Rue's tenancy had commenced post the Tenancy Fees Act 2019. She had taken a full deposit of 6 weeks worth of rental, so she was keen to know whether there were any exceptions at all to this particular rule. The solicitor explained that the Tenant Fees Act 2019 provisions do not apply to statutory periodic tenancies arising after 1 June 2019 on the coming to an end of a fixed-term tenancy, which was entered into before 1 June 2019. So basically that means Rue's tenancy falls foul of the TFA 2019. So there seems to be trouble in paradise. What are they going to do? How are they going to proceed with their Australian dream? The point to note is your dream might not necessarily be the Australian dream. It could be an American dream. It could be just a dream to evict the tenant. But if you have not complied with the relevant TFA requirements, you will not be able to serve a valid Section 21 notice. So if you've taken any prohibited payments, you will not be able to serve a valid Section 21 notice. It doesn't have to be as dramatic for you as it potentially was for Rue and Patrick. But the key point is that you can return the additional payments. So whatever excess, whatever surplus payments that you took, or whatever prohibited payments that you took, as long as you return them to the tenant, you should be able thereafter to serve a valid Section 21 notice. So they can be happily ever after for you as well, as long as you get it right from the outset. But even if you don't get it right from the outset, you can save the day by just returning the payments that you ought to return. So the key points to take away are as follows. You do not have an obligation at all to take a deposit. It's prudent to, because of the primary reasons why you take it in the first place, but it's not an obligation on your part to take the deposit. Please ensure you comply with all the relevant statutory provisions to include protection, provision of the prescribed information, timescales, and the amounts of the deposit. Be alert to the fact that the Section 21 notice has in fact changed to accommodate the Tenant Fees Act 2019. There is a free copy at the bottom of the screen. Just click the button and make sure that you are updated. And as you'll know, there are also potential changes to, or indeed abolition of the Section 21 notice. I'll do another video for you in terms of the other eviction methods that you can use in the event that the Section 21 notice is abolished. I hope it isn't, but if it is, at least we'll be ready. I am grateful that you've taken the time to join me today. What I would sincerely request of you is that you share this video with your friends, your family, or anybody else that you know is in the property space and could benefit from this. This applies to standard landlords, it applies to rent-to-rent landlords, it applies to landlords doing these options, it also applies to people who are doing rent-to-rents. I do hope you can join me on one of our webinars. Detailed webinars, educational webinars, no sales, no drama, just content. Thank you and all the best in your property investment journey. Remember, what you do not know is